conspiracy theory that Charlie Kirk may have actually been killed by his Røde microphone.
I've killed people closer than I saw the camera, and I've never seen a shirt move like that. That looks like an explosion to me.
Something happened under that shirt, and
boom.
The shirt right up to the right.
Yep, and came up from the microphone that was inside his shirt. Boom.
Wait, did you see that? No, seriously, did you actually look at the footage? Because a US Navy SEAL just did, and he didn't see a sniper attack. He saw an explosion. One of the most elite warriors on the planet is calling out the official story, and he's pointing directly at that Røde microphone clipped to Charlie Kirk's shirt. We've been told for months that some lone gunman with a rifle took him out, but when a guy who's spent his entire life in actual combat zones says something looks off, you better believe we're listening. Like, come on, are we really supposed to just nod and smile? Is it possible we've been lied to from day one? Is the government trying to cover up a high-tech hit by blaming some guy in the woods? We're diving deep into the exploding mic theory today, and trust me, once you see what these veterans are seeing, you'll never look at that video the same way again. Look, we've seen this movie before, haven't we? Every single time there's a high-profile event that shakes the country, the official story comes out within hours. Remember the magic bullet theories of the past? Or how evidence always seems to disappear or get corrupted right when it matters most? It's the same old playbook. They want us to just nod our heads, trust the experts, and move on. But the pattern's clear. They give us a narrative that fits their agenda, and anyone who dares to ask a logical question is immediately labeled a conspiracy theorist. It's a joke. But this time, it's not just random people on the internet asking questions. It's the professionals. It's the guys who have been in the trenches, who know exactly what a 30-06 does to a human body. And they're saying the math just doesn't add up.
I'm with Rob. Something exploded on him. But I don't have to get into the details because I'm not in a court of law having to prove a darn thing.
Now, the mainstream media and the investigators have been singing the same song from the start. It's like a broken record at this point. They say a shooter was perched in the woods, used a screwdriver to put a rifle together, fired a single shot from a 30-06, and then, get this, somehow took the whole thing apart and vanished before being caught later. They want us to believe this guy was some kind of tactical genius who also happened to leave his tools behind. Like, really? You're gonna tell me a guy's smart enough to evade security and hit a moving target, but he's too dumb to remember his screwdriver? It's laughable. And that's actually one of the details people online keep coming back to. One person pointed out, so he broke the rifle down after shooting, leaving the screwdriver, then reassembled it and left it in the woods without the supposed screwdriver. Huh. And honestly, that's exactly why so many people aren't buying this story. They keep looking at the sequence of events and saying, wait, how does that actually work? Now, if you want to talk about proof that this whole thing's a setup, get a load of this. An ATF ballistics expert actually admitted that the rifle had dust inside the barrel when it was recovered. During cross-examination, ATF firearms examiner Samantha Carner confirmed under oath that when they found the rifle, there was dust and debris inside the barrel. Think about that for a second. If that firearm had just been fired to take out Charlie Kirk, the barrel would be clean of dust. It would be full of gunpowder residue and heat. You don't fire a high-powered rifle and then have dust just sitting there. This is absolute proof that the weapon they're trying to pin this on had not been recently fired. But here's where things really started to snowball. People weren't just watching the footage anymore. They were replaying it over and over, slowing it down, zooming in, trying to figure out if they'd missed something the first time. And then a former Navy SEAL sat down for an interview and said something that got everyone's attention. He looked at the footage and flat out said, "It looked like an explosion to me." He wasn't talking about a bomb in the crowd. He was talking about Charlie's shirt. He noticed the way the fabric moved, the way the impact looked, and he said it didn't match any rifle strike he'd ever seen in his career. And he's not alone. Another retired military guest jumped in and agreed, saying he also believed something exploded on Charlie. They're not trying to present courtroom evidence. They're giving us their professional opinion based on years of seeing what bullets actually do. Now, the Røde wireless mic, think about it. It's clipped right where the impact happened. Could it have been rigged? Could it have been the actual source of the shot? It sounds like a movie plot, but in the world we're living in now, is anything really off the table? The SEAL also noticed that the people around Charlie weren't rushing to save his life. They were rushing to clear equipment. They were focused on SIM cards and cameras.
Just the fact that no one started doing first aid to Charlie Kirk, they were more concerned about getting SIM cards out of cameras, removing cameras, and then getting him off the X somehow. There didn't seem a lot of concern for his life. It seemed like just clean it up and then...
Now, since when is a camera more important than a dying man? Why? What was on those cards? What were they so desperate to hide before the paramedics even got there? It's super sketchy, and it points to a level of coordination that you don't just see in a random shooting. And then there's the whole situation with Erica Kirk. Honestly, it's very sus that she forgave Tyler Robinson that quickly. Like, I get it. She's a Christian woman. She's got the virtues and all that. But still, why forgive him that fast? When you actually think about it, how can she easily forgive the guy who allegedly took her husband's life? Yet she can't find it in her heart to forgive Candace Owens.
The podcaster Candace Owens, okay? At one time, a friend of Charlie's, at one time, an employee of Turning Point. She has been one of the main peddlers of these conspiracies, and she is making a huge amount of money on it. She is building her business off of these lies. What do you want to say to her and the other people that are putting these lies out into the world right now?
Stop. That's it. That's all I have to say. Stop.
Now, Candace has been at the forefront of this, spearheading the conspiracies and asking the tough questions about Charlie's death. They were close, right? So maybe Candace knows something that we don't. And let's not forget the Mike theory. Candace has been talking about that too. She recently highlighted those enhanced images from the SUV that transported Charlie, claiming there are fragments inside that vehicle that deserve a much closer look. It makes you wonder what she's seen that the investigators are trying to bury.
The conspiracy theory that Charlie Kirk may have actually been killed by his Røde microphone.
It looks like something that might have been his microphone pack exploded.
And you guys remember George Zinn? He reportedly claimed responsibility shortly after the shooting, before investigators just shifted focus. And then there's Zach Qureshi. Investigators briefly believed they had their guy, before changing course again. What happened during those windows of time? Why the rapid changes? It only fuels more uncertainty. And by this point, people weren't just questioning one part of the investigation anymore. They were questioning the entire story. One person commented, "That's the thing. Why did they say it was a 30-06 that would clearly contrast with what happened? It's like they did a bad job intentionally. Maybe to send a message that they can take out anyone in front of everyone and not get caught." And of course, there was yet another person who had an opinion, saying, just like that Navy SEAL said, those of us that have specialized training are not buying that sack of goods. It's actually an insult to all Americans that this moronic administration thinks that we are so stupid to believe their narrative. That's a serious claim from a viewer, but can you blame them for thinking it? When the investigation looks this sloppy, you have to wonder if the sloppiness is the point. They want us confused. They want us exhausted. They want us to just give up and accept the narrative. So I'm asking you, what do you see? When you look at that footage, do you see a bullet or do you see an explosion? Do you trust the guy who's actually been in the trenches? Or do you trust the talking heads on the news who have never even held a rifle? Does that Røde microphone theory sound crazy to you? Or does it sound like the only thing that actually explains what we're seeing on camera? I want to know where you stand. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one of them, and I want to know if you're seeing the same massive red flags I am.